We have a Rural Innovation Conference coming up in September, and we have Jesse Weave from Startup TNT, as well as Christian Boyle in the studio. And I want to thank you both for making time on a hot summer day.
No problem.
Thanks,
Happy to be
Randy.
here.
Maybe, Christian, let's start with you and the conference that's upcoming. Shed some light on it because it's involving rural Saskatchewan and maybe a bit of a bridge to urban as well.
Yeah, so I appreciate that, Randy. So my role in the conference, I sit on the board of directors of an organization called the Saskatchewan Indigenous Economic Development Network. And we're a coalition of professionals that's trying to advance economic reconciliation in this province. We do that by having conversations about improving some of these gaps that we have, access to capital, data, information, networks. And we do that by really kind of concentrating on the N in our acronym, which is the network part. So we gather people together and we have events where we have these important conversations. For the past few years, we have held an annual event that's focused on tech and innovation and connecting Indigenous communities, professionals, and educators to the innovation sector here in Saskatchewan. And this year, we've partnered with another organization called the Southeast Tech Hub, based out of Estevan, and they're a rural innovation incubator. So they have an applied research program. They're putting on events. They're doing education programs like computer science for people located in rural Saskatchewan, and they're trying to build some critical mass around getting startups going, a lot of rural innovation happening. We've chosen to partner with them and co-host this conference, which is happening September 23rd and 24th this year, because it makes sense for our membership. Basically, every Indigenous community located in Saskatchewan is located in rural Saskatchewan, and they face a lot of the same challenges and opportunities that rural municipalities and rurally located people do. So it made sense for us to partner and have these conversations. The thing about innovation from a rural perspective and how that ties into urban is a lot of the major sort of impacts that we see from things like the energy sector or natural events that involve like wastewater, even the forest fires, they happen in rural Saskatchewan. And the solutions that need to be developed, the innovative solutions that we need to develop in this province, the technologies, the policies, the solutions need to be developed in the field, in rural Saskatchewan, where people are on the front lines dealing with these challenges. And all of these things impact our urban populations as well. So we need to connect. We have great ecosystem for innovation and incubation in Saskatoon and Regina. But we need to start making some of those connections to folks out in urban and Indigenous communities and rural Saskatchewan who also have great ideas and we all need to be working together.
I think that's a key thing, and Jesse, just to bring you in, that I've seen you work, and it's very magical the way you can network. I think the capital N in that is key for you. When you see this type of an initiative, knowing what we have, and we see so many pockets, but no one really knows about each other, the Startup TNT concept, if you will, tell us more about how that bridges over into what you're doing here.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've been working with Saskatchewan Indigenous Active Network as partners for a while, as well as the Southeast Tech Hub. So when they came together, we were really proud to have them reach out to us and say, hey, we're looking to do this thing. We want to make it bigger and better than it's ever been before. And one of the things that I'm known for, and Startup TNT is known for, is being pretty loud, getting the word out. So we came on board to really help them develop this pitch competition that they're doing this year as part of the conference, where we're going to be celebrating rural innovators, right, and giving them an opportunity to win some cash at the end of the day that they can use to help build their company. And we want to do it in a way that gets people from urban communities like here in Saskatoon and in Regina and across the province engaged with what's going on, right? To Christian's point, some of these innovators are going to be working on some really interesting solutions, and they're going to need the support of those in the urban communities to really build their companies long term. But we want to help keep them in the places where they are in those rural communities. We need more innovation everywhere in this province, and it's becoming easier and easier. We're seeing that a lot with Startup TNT. We actually have a number of applicants. I was looking about a dozen out of the 200 or so that applied over the last few years have come from smaller urban communities. So a relatively small percent, like 5% of the overall applicant pool, but we want to see more, right? There's some really great stuff happening out there, and it needs to be supported. And so that's why we're jumping on board with this initiative.
So this is happening in September, and Christian, what do you see if we were to fast forward maybe into spring of 2026? What would you like to say this happened because we did this in September?
You know, what we try to get out of these is it's more than just a conference where you spend a little time, hear some information, and move on. What we really want to try to trigger relationships and conversations that move past the conference. So that's really the focus of these events, is really trying to. So we'd love to see that perhaps some investment came for a great idea, and that company is starting to move along, maybe even in the position to be employing some people and doing some research in the field on their technology. Or maybe an Indigenous Economic Development Corporation sees an opportunity to invest into a project that is beneficial to their nation and to the proponents of the project. That conversation starts there. So those are the kinds of outcomes that we look for our events, and that's essentially why we do what we do.
I've watched with great interest and great personal satisfaction some of the urban reserves that have started in Saskatoon and being first in Western Canada
Yes.
to implement that. Seeing those positive effects come out of that, I'm really encouraged to see this on the rural side of things. Just to your point, Jesse, as well, that we have all of those innovators and they're out there, but how do we bring them together and have them be aware, I guess, of one another? It's not about physically being present as well. Is there a live stream component to this?
Absolutely, yeah. There is a live stream component. We want to give an opportunity for the grandma and grandpas and the mom and dads of some of the finalists that are going to be pitching on stage, but even interested people all over the place. Right, Startup TNT. When we do any of our events, we always beam them online, and we put them up on YouTube, and we're going to do something similar with this event. And the effects of that can be pretty incredible. We had a company that got reached out to by a supplier in Germany at one of our TNT events, right? So you never know who's going to be watching one of these live streams, which is one of the reasons why we do it. And it's also really important for us to kind of really get more eyes on what's happening in the rural communities, right? We have collabs here in Saskatoon. There's the cultivator powered by Connexus in Regina. There's some really great support systems, but rural innovators, until the Southeast Tech Hub and the work that Saskatchewan Indigenous ECDEV Network has been doing, we're kind of left on the sidelines, right? And we're forced to move from their communities into Saskatoon or into Regina. And as much as I love people coming here, I love Saskatoon, I want more people to be here in this city. I'm a farm boy. I grew up out in the rural, and so I can really see why people would want to live that life and be out in those rural communities, but at the same time not be forced into only doing jobs in rural communities, right? When today's world with AI, with Zoom calls and everything else, you can build a company from anywhere. And we want to showcase that there's some really great innovators happening there and get the attention of those that are running systems, running the support programs like Collabs and Cultivator and many others. There's a lot more programs out there supporting these rural innovators as well. So
if I'm not able to in September to physically be present,
you can always watch. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Christian, in terms of some of the work that you're doing, you're on the board. Do you see any connection with, I guess there's always sourcing of revenue and grants and funding. Are there any opportunities for people who might be in a rural environment to tap into, or are there any incentives that people can look to? Because it's always startup capital.
Yeah,
that is a challenge.
It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that we're still not really addressing at the scale we need to address it at in this country. But there certainly are programs available out there to support folks that are looking to do innovation, both federal and provincial through Innovation Saskatchewan. I would encourage anybody that has these ideas to do some research, and I try to identify what non-dilutive capital opportunities are out there, because it's a great way to actually get out and test your ideas and work towards that sort of minimal viable product or even proof of concept before you start really planning out how to go get money from other folks and start sharing your information and your company. That's my recommendation. And there are programs out there, but I do want to highlight that. I know Jesse's really big on this, is that we need to start actually investing a lot more in these types of programs that support innovative ideas being developed in Canada and staying in Canada. Now it's probably more important than ever, and especially in Indigenous communities.
Yeah, and if I may, this particular competition right now has a prize pool of $15,000, thanks to support from Sask Power and Jihi Tachi. So that prize pool will be distributed amongst the finalists. We haven't really determined whether how much is going to first, second, third just yet, depending on how they play out. But we're looking for more people to get involved. And to Christian's point, it takes a village to raise a startup, is what we like to say at TNT. We encourage people at all of our events to think about how they can support companies. So if you're a consultant, if you're a professional, legal, accounting, anything, you can donate some services as part of the prize pool. We'd love to talk to you a little bit more about that. And if you've got opportunities, for these companies, maybe you end up watching live stream and you say, oh, look, I could pilot this technology on my farm, or I know somebody that owns a business that could use this technology. That's the way that we create more innovation, here in Saskatchewan. Unfortunately, other places, other provinces, the United States aren't going to come and save us here in Saskatchewan. We kind of got to pick ourselves up by our own bootstraps. And so let's rally together, right? We've got so many resources here. One of the great things I love about Saskatchewan is everyone's kind of a phone call away. So we all know someone that could potentially help these entrepreneurs, and we want to become this province that's not just great for entrepreneurs in cities, but also great for entrepreneurs out in the rural communities as well.
I guess if I could just add one more thing.
Yeah.
Just for folks that are more interested in this conference, how they can connect. So we definitely want people to attend in person as well.
Yeah.
Take in the whole show, take in the pitch competition. We have sponsorships available. All that information will be up on our website, siedn.ca.
Awesome. We'll look forward to seeing that. Jesse, Christian, thanks so much for coming down to the studio. We'll keep an eye on this. This is just amazing stuff for us.
Awesome. Yeah, application's now open. Take it up.
That's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Landon Grube, as well as Jesse Weeb and Christian Boyle. I'm your host, Randy Shabila. We'll see you next time on Connect.